Kiwache mwisha mama na pavimbe panyeke wanda umela kukangula iluka inyonge. Kiwache mwisha mama na pavimbe panyeke wanda umela kukangula iluka inyonge. Kabula simfukwe ya kuizana Toyota ya kufungu mbulungu ya kuyanu mkumba. Kabula simfukwe ya kuizana Toyota ya kufungu mbulungu ya kuyanu mkumba. Nisana sumbiri sana lola mama wane. Nisana sumbiri sana lola mama wane. Melenga ncha kuchitana lola mwenzo wawaya. Melenga ncha kuchitana lola mwenzo wawaya. Zina kuane, sifukawe mweze zina kuane, sifukawe mweze zina kuane, sifukawe. Mweze zina kuane, sifukawe mweze zina kuane, sifukawe mweze zina kuane, sifukawe. Alayame chisi kwe chikuchini nafali muka mwine Mwanda unayala kufanikisha familia yangu. Very sorry. Wanda huu kumela ni mpasa yame Yerela kumela na kapari Panipando ya kari kasana Kupika wale mali kasire Nishendi wale mali napari muka mwene jale chansi pachumi Ale mule meku kona we simpasa Hawe mule mile wewe lameki Kumona lameki we mule meku
Hello. Good evening, Chuempala. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, world. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Elias Musha, and I'm coming to you live from somewhere in Chuempala time. It's 21:46. Thank you for joining us here. We are very excited that you could come on. Please share this link with as many people as possible. I have here with me General Norman Chipakupaku, who's been missing in action for several of our sessions. General, you're welcome.
Good evening, Chuampala. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening to our viewers. And first of all, I apologize that I'm not in my usual environment, but I'm live from Lusaka, and it's exciting. We might have our issues with the internet, but it's fantastic to be back home. How are you doing, Mush? I know you are somewhere around Lusaka. I am excited. It was exciting to meet this afternoon. And how are you doing, Mush? It has been hot. For me, it has been a very, very hot day. So how are you surviving?
I'm surviving just fine. We are used to this heat, and so we move on. What do we do? One of the things that you did today, General, was you sang Alebwerera Bopampando, and it's gone viral because several people are commenting on it, and they're very happy that you could actually sing. Can you dance to that song, though?
Well, yes, I could dance, but this time if I dance to that song, people will get annoyed because they'll think I'm fooling people. No, I was just dancing. I was just having fun. And the other thing is that because we told them that there was no Mpando for somebody to sit on, so we're taking the Mpando away. And I really wanted to make sure that we have fun. And for our friends in PF, come on, guys, cheer up, cheer up. Ladies and gentlemen, cheer up. Zambia is not gone. It's still here. It's still your Zambia. What I saw in the streets of Lusaka, Musha, from the airport up to Lusaka, from people, some people are miserable. Don't be miserable. Zambia is still here. It's still your country. That's what I can say to our viewers, Musha.
General, are people miserable? Which people? Because in any misery. Which people were you meeting for them to be so miserable?
Moshe, I saw a lot of excited people, but I also saw some people who were really, really like it's like it's a funeral. It's over. The time for that campaign is over. This time is for us to really pull forward and rebuild our country. I think that's what the most important thing is. The last 3 days have been very, very exciting days. I've met UPND officials, I've met PF officials. I will not reveal their names, but it's really, really exciting to be able to say, guys, the campaign is over. We have a new president. Let's move on. Let's find a way of pulling together to rebuild our country. But I wanted to dance to that because I just wanted to enjoy the being back home, and also to tell our people that Mpando is now somebody sitting on it. I've actually got a beautiful photograph of His Excellency the President HH sitting on a beautiful chair, except that he's got a mask. I wish he had no mask. So Mpando is now in the hands of the Zambian people, and the man who they elected is sitting on the Mpando. Munsha, over to you.
All right. So General, one of the amazing things about those pictures that HH is posting is power. That's how power is, Because HH looks different, very, very regal, very, very royal, very presidential. No because I can see in some of these pictures because I'm like, hey, power can she a few inches, na ine kan shefyo ndefu irokuteka na ine nkalepu kanon.
Munsha, first for now is President Hakainde Hichilema is the president, Munsha. And for me, really, when I landed, I wondered where our former president is. Anybody who knows where he has moved to, Munsha. I saw him. He was behind the wheel the other day. Was it yesterday? Where is he? Where is he gone to? Over to you, Musha. Are you able to hear me?
Rebutting the label. Yeah, anyway, we cut out a little bit there. The people who are rebutting the Alebo Pompando song, they say that is back in Chawama. But in actual fact, I do think that he's been, they've rented a house for him, a very beautiful house from Stopila Suzu's house, the footballer's house. And so they've rented him a house, and that's where he is. It's a very comfortable house. Nama none sana. So he's going to enjoy himself living in that house for sure. And so that's what is happening here, General. And then I have here.
So Musha, can you clarify?
Yeah. So you
into somebody's house.
Yes, he's renting. There is a house which is being rented for him at about $2,000 a month. Is it $2,000 or $5,000 a month? You know, you can't know exactly, but yes, the government has found a house for him to rent. We understand that the house was owned by Stopila Suzu, our footballer.
Oh, the footballer. Oh, that's good. It's fantastic. He's renting Sanjus' house, according to the press. It's very good to see that our footballers are earning enough money now to be able to build a house which can accommodate a former president. That's good. That's really, really good. It's a good sign.
No, footballers are poor. It's just that it's Stopila Sunzu who went and played for a football team in France, and so he does have those resources. Otherwise, the rest of the footballers, they are as poor as everyone else. So don't even think that it's because there is money in football. Yeah,
Muncha, I think I'm too old. I wouldn't even try because I would break my legs. You know, I used to be a good goalkeeper when I was young, but I think not at this age. I would break my legs. Musha, I can hear another very familiar laugh. Is that Dr. Dr. Kasonso, Professor Kasonso? Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. How are you doing today, sir? It's good to see you back.
I'm all right. And how are you? How are things? We haven't spoken for a long time. How are you getting on?
I'm getting on very well, and things are looking up. We are just eager and curious for our country to take its place amongst the nations. And it looks like we are off to a good start.
Well, Professor Kasonso, I think we're off for a good start. I'm not going to say much about what I'm seeing because some of the meetings I've been attending are very interesting meetings, but it's to be very premature for me to say what I'm, the meetings I've been attending. But I think it's a fresh start for Zambia, and the way people are excited, the way international organizations are excited, the way donors are excited. It's just unbelievable. It's just exciting, and for me to see Dr. Msokotwane being appointed the first finance minister under UPND is a sign of confidence. And I'm just seeing a fresh start. You can tell that in the faces of our people. I went to a place for lunch this afternoon, and what I was seeing, I've seen smiling faces everywhere. And I think it's a good start. I don't know what you think, Musha, because you've been having more meetings and more interviews than I've had. For me, I've been having private meetings. So, and some of these private meetings, I'm sorry that I can discuss them here, Musha. Over to you.
All right. So your question is about how people are taking what? How people are taking the new government?
Yes, how they're taking the new government, how they're taking things. What do you think is happening in the minds of people? I know there are a lot of comments that are waiting for the cabinet, full cabinet, to be appointed. I also understand that there's been a sort of a gaffe by the Secretary General, who apologized yesterday for having spoken on behalf of the government. And a lot of people also saying the State House staff should be quickly announced so that the government can get going. And then there's the issue of State House itself. Where is the president going to be living? those are some of the issues that which I'm hearing in the streets of Lusaka. But a lot of people want a new cabinet to be sworn in quickly to try and get things going.
General, of course, those are major concerns that people have, and we would like to speak to State House. Now imagine, previously, when we say we are speaking to State House, we were speaking to a State House of Kelenkas. Now things have changed, so we are speaking to the State House of the party that we supported and the party that we believe carries the aspirations of our people. So we are appealing to the State House to quickly look at, first of all, appointing the heads to the head of state, and then to appointing cabinet. There is no reason why cabinet should be delaying this long. I know that our dear head of state is a very thorough man and is trying to do a very thorough job. But our Pakokola, 2 days, 48 hours, no Pakokola. What we expected was immediately after the swearing in, at least half of the cabinet should have been in place, you know, and the State House staff should have been clear. And so this has delayed a lot. And so I hope that tomorrow, announced for Saturday. But even if it's Saturday or Sunday, we want to see some names and people to get started, because there's no time to waste here. Otherwise, you're going to give an opportunity to Mr. Binoculars, Raphael Binoculars Naganda, to begin making up lies, you know, and seeing things using his binoculars.
Yeah, but Musha,
Raphael Binoculars
Nagajin. Very, very important that we make it very, very clear to our viewers that this is the first time there's been this transition under the new constitution. Musha, you're the lawyer, I'm not. The old constitution, as soon as the results were announced, the president would have been sworn within hours.
Yeah.
But the new constitution has a date when the president is inaugurated. So it has taken a long time because of the provisions in the new constitution. What do you think, Musha? What does the new constitution say? Because the old constitution, as soon as the president was announced, declared winner, would have been sworn in within 1 hour. But this one he can't. He couldn't. That's why we ended up waiting up to the 24th.
Yes, and so this is definitely something new. The other thing that makes it new is the fact that it is handing over of power. So the ruling Patriotic Front. So this is the front government, and then suddenly there is a new party that has won, and so this is the first time we're having a transition. So there was definitely, as expected, some bickering here and there, but I think they resolved that, and so since President Hakainde Hichilema is now in power, we expected a big announcement of the cabinet, if not a full cabinet, at least half. Not the not just the individual that they've announced today. A terrific appointment that has inspired markets, that we fully stand for, and we believe Honorable Stumbeko Msokotwani is an excellent choice. General, we brought Honorable Stumbeko Msokotwani on this program when he was campaigning, and his video on YouTube is one of the most watched videos on TV Bakwet. And so it means that he is very well liked by our viewers, by our followers, and so that is an excellent choice. But I think we need to move far quicker, set the State House staff in place, and set the new cabinet in place as soon as possible. 2 days is already way too much. And so that's what we are appealing. We know that just like the previous government, this new government listens to us. And so icho tule balombako kweba ati basonte wangu ngati nshi yashupa kwa kusonta tali kusonta fye wacha oluchero niweka teka webere iwe na kusonta na sonta basonta atutepo wabomba. That's what we want to see very, very quickly. The president should quickly work on this. We have no time to waste, Mr. President. We want to see teams in place so that the nation moves forward. And we are very grateful that you're going to look into this plight. In terms of the constitution and transitions, of course, that is the dilemma that we are experiencing right now. But it will be all right. The inauguration came, it has now gone, and we have a full UPND government in place. And so I've been doing several shows. I was in DJ Shosta. We were recording a show today. I was on Radio Phoenix. I was on One Love Radio the other day, and so and Diamond TV. And we continue spreading the same message. What is the message, General? The message that this is our country. We need to begin consolidating the democratic gains that we've achieved with the new government, and continue holding the new government accountable and wishing it all the best. For those like Binoculars Nagachinda, Raphael Binoculars Nagachinda, they can have different ideas, but Dr. Kasonso, na mumfua kwa ini?
Mkwae.
Ati na bashita Binoculars Nagachinda. Iyo bakula bomfyo kumwena ko ifyo hichile mali teka.
Well, that's witchcraft. The opposition ule komuntu ateka kofenda ngu 1 month ero mwamune fiachita. Criticism if we are based on substance, on policies and the steps he's taking, the personnel he has appointed. I would like them to criticize his choice for Minister of Finance. Everybody is quiet on social media. It's like once now we get mumkanwa. So yeah, we get mumkanwa. But yeah, what we need is a steady hand at finance and bringing confidence to global financial partners, giving confidence to our creditors, and just giving confidence to the local business community that they can expect straight business from this new government. So the appointment is an excellent one. Also, in terms of the long-term effects, I feel that although Dr. Msokotwane is an excellent choice, one more advantage he has already passed the retirement age. So he will be looking to pass on the baton, the nation, and the stronger economy to the younger generation. And I hope that they can be able to establish a stronger succession system through which future ministers of finance would be just as predictable as he was a choice. I would like to see more in the coming years, the potential people to different positions to already be known before they are appointed. But you see, Pafma will take a watch pante, so it's like kwamba chipia. So we are very thankful for that. I am also curious why it is taking this long, Mr. Chipakupaku, for us to have the rest of the cabinet. Were they waiting for you to arrive so that they could take you to foreign affairs, or what's happening?
Professor Kasonso, I have no comment. I don't speak on behalf of the government, neither do I speak on behalf of the party, and I am also equally keen to see the cabinet being set up. But I was also very, very impressed. I was impressed about the first choice of the first appointment is of somebody I respect so much, Dr. Msokotwane. And so just like any other citizen, I am also waiting. And the other thing is that people have been sending me lists of the whole cabinets, and I'm saying to these people, you are just guessing. You are just like me. I don't know who will be in the cabinet, and I can't say anything because I don't know. It's the prerogative of the president, and so for me, I'm looking forward to the whole cabinet. That's what I can say. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what he has already sent a very, very clear message to the country, the Dr. Msokotwane, of what he wants to do. And I don't want to comment on people like Nakachinda because I think that's being childish. He can't tell people to say citizens and the parents say don't pay school fees tomorrow because UPND has a free education policy. It's being childish, and I think for Nakachinda, I don't have respect for people like that, because who is he? Who is he speaking on behalf? HH was elected with over 2-point-something million voters. So Nakachinda should just go and dig a big hole and put his head in the hole. That's what I can say. You can't criticize the person who was only sworn in 2 days ago and start trying to pretend that he's speaking on behalf of PF. Let Mr. Given Lubinda and Mr. Lungu speak on behalf of PF. Mr. Nakachinda, I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude to him. If I wanted to be rude, I'll tell him to shut up, because really he has no constituency. He has no constituency. He didn't stand as, he was an elected MP. He has never been elected anywhere. So he should shut up. And I think as a member of UPND, I can say that he should be the last person to criticize UPND. And he should be the last person. I saw him on Diamond TV. He should be the last person to criticize this new government. Give this government a chance. Mr. Lungu was in power for 7 years. He never addressed the country for 7 years. He never did anything. Yeah. And people were defending him. Why should Mr. Nakachinda today start criticizing somebody who's been sworn in just 2 days ago? So my word to people like Nakachinda is shut up. Go and dig a big hole in your village and bury your head in that hole.
And then what?
Yes.
Once he buries his head in the hole, and then what?
When he buries his head in the hole, I think the head will cool down after a few 6 months. Then he can take it out and start thinking. Because at the moment he's just showing how ignorant he is. So bury your head in the head, Mr. Nakachinda, for 6 months. It will cool down for 6 months, and then take it out. You might start thinking straight. That's what I can say, Mush. Over to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to open it up with our friends that are eager to come on and join our discussion. However, I would like to look at what happened today in the Patriotic Front. So, General, the Patriotic Front have a president known as Edgar Lungu, who fired the vice president of the party and appointed a new vice president. So he fired Honorable the former vice president Inongewina, and replaced her with Given Lubinda. And then today, we understand that they went to the MCC conference, and at that MCC conference, it was a resolution of the Central Committee to keep Edgar Lungu as president. Now, I noticed several problems with what transpired today. It really appears like the whole reason why the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front wants Lungu to continue is because they are rejecting Given Lubinda as vice president. I think that is the only logical explanation. Because President Lungu, I think, wants to completely retire and go and enjoy the money that he accumulated when he was president. I think he wants to go and lead a very quiet life wherever it is that he wants to go. And so he doesn't want to listen to the Patriotic Front and their machinations of trying to keep him in power, because then he's going to anger everyone. Because abantu barafulwa. And to go beyond ukuwela, because some people don't understand what exactly happened here. The Edgar Lungu brand is a damaged brand, because the Patriotic Front as a party, in fact, outperformed Edgar Lungu nearly in all elections. So the Patriotic Front candidates were doing far much better, even on the copper ballot. So MPs had higher votes than did the president, which means that Edgar Lungu was one of the big problems here. So what he should have done is to resign immediately, ask Madam Inongewina to lead a transition, and then have a new leader elected. But he did not do that. Instead, he appoints Given Lubinda, arrogant Given Lubinda, and he becomes the vice president. Today, they were going to affirm Given Lubinda as the new president. But I think the Central Committee is saying no to Given Lubinda. There will be, it's already a civil war in the Patriotic Front from what I see. Dr. Kasonso, do you agree with my analysis?
Yes, there are parts that I agree with, and there are parts that I am a little bit doubtful of. First of all, there is a reason why I think a ruling party that has just had an election, they do attempt to have their leader stick around for a little while longer. Because if the new leader goes out immediately, that thing will disintegrate 7 ways. It will disintegrate 7 ways immediately. So just to provide them at least a transition of regrouping after that, they do seek to, usually in organizations of that sort, they would seek to maintain the president for a little while longer. Well, that doesn't mean that he will stay on for forever. He can choose to resign at a point when they streamline things. The second reason that I see is a financial one. Having been president, of course, we know they store, people got different cuts, but I think if they even did steal, as we assume they must have, the person who got the biggest cut is Mr. Lungu. So that big cut he has could help sustain a bunch of other subsidiary thieves. So they have to keep them there for a financial reason. Why? They have to keep him there for a financial reason.
At who had the higher, the big, the biggest cut?
The biggest stake would take one nikateka. So since they were checking sana, so but kusunga kwempupu filia, well because they were taking stake akakulileko. So kawafoko kuchitari group kuchisaran party, and once he is ready to pass on the baton, the party can regroup. Can you imagine if they went today and selected Given Luwinda? Bena buwaria bonse bariaga matuwa shina bale kanama politics. Abena kambwini kana resign from PF. So bonse baria group yose kabachicha scatter 7 ways. So even day mona inefo iliapa. Ni ofine kwa number 1 akapia, number 2 for the at least the unity of those people who were his favorite bootlickers to stick around with the political party. But either case, it's a dead one, because the Patriotic Front, or as the young man from Nigeria would say, has no mora. The Patriotic Front has no mora. So they don't have the moral on which they are going to stand, and they don't have a visionary leader who can keep them together. But eventually they will elect some, and what has been avoided today will become inevitable as we go down the line. They have just postponed the disintegration of the party by keeping Lungu.
And so do you foresee that Given that can hold this party together?
I doubt, because I don't think he got a big stake to keep people around, because see, the Patriotic Front is oiled by money. You have to have a stake. Remember the founder said,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Given Luwinda is a good face. Is a good face, new face for the party. But I don't think Given Luwinda
how can Luwinda be a new face? Given Luwinda is one of the most recognizable faces in the Patriotic Front.
No, a frontman, as a frontman. I mean a new face in terms of being a frontman. The face of the party are in Lungu. So Given Luwinda, I don't think he can lead that party. That party, first of all, the Patriotic Front, is a coalition of the northeastern tribes. And the Patriotic Front is a very tribalistic institution, as we saw in these past elections. And since even Given Luwinda does not even come from those tribes, he would be left with hyenas to quarrel as goats, and in the end, he will not be able to make it as president of the party.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Kanshi, we have lots of problems.
Yes.
Dr. Kasonso,
yes, sir.
You've hit the nail on the head. And I can say, after meeting one or two of the PF members who are very senior in PF, that party belongs to the Luapula United versus the North. So can we, given Rubinda Bilten, Dr. Bilten has no chance. And
no chance.
I totally agree with you that Kasakakandalama is still with the Mwino Wakasakakandalama. So they can't survive. PF cannot survive for two months without Kasakakandalama. So the other issue is that they were worried to say, if the guy holding the money goes, that's the end of PF. That will be the end of PF. And
yes,
what is so strange is that what happened to Luo? Because I thought Luo was supposed to be being placed to be the next person to take over the party. What happened to Luo? If they completely discarded Luo?
General, I think she's disappeared. No, I think she's disappeared. Pantu, this is the problem. Here is the problem.
What has happened to my elder sister Luo? You know, because I thought she was going to take over because she's basically she was the running mate, the vice president, and all of a sudden they dump her, and then bring in Dr. Bilten. And what I know is that Kampyongo will not be happy. Kachitotela will not be happy. Davis Mwila will not be happy. And Chama will not be happy. Davis Chama will not be happy. And Mr. Mukukakandoro won't be happy to have Davis. Remember, this is a party which thinks the other tribes are not important. This party is their party. Using Davis Mwila's language. It's their party. So you cannot have given Rubinda taking over their party. So I think as soon as Mr. Umwine Wandarama Akasakakandalama goes, that will be the end of PF. They would never survive in opposition like the UPND for over 20 years. Never. If they survive for 5 years, that would be lucky, but you know, it's not good for democracy. Me, I want PF to survive, I want them to survive. I want to hear them opposing UPND policies in parliament. I want them, not in a Kachinda style of nonsense, but I want to hear their MPs. I want to hear Sunday Chanda opposing in parliament and telling us policies, alternative policies. I want to hear Sunday Chanda saying that. Not the nonsense from Nakachinda. So without Mr. Lungu, there is no PF. Because their constitution gives the power, too much power to one person. He appoints the central committee, he appoints the secretary general, he appoints the vice president, he appoints everything. And he also provides the money. Basically, to our viewers, PF belongs to Mr. Lungu. Mr. Sata left it in the hands of Mr. Lungu. But the question is, can it survive without being in government? Because they were depending on government. Government contracts were financing PF. Now that they're not in government, they can't survive. Over to you, Musha.
I don't think there's got to do several changes. I think given Luinda is rejected, let them go back to the drawing board. If it means having one of the Luapula United people, you know, they could do it. You know, maybe Nixon Chilawa, or just a complete new person. You know, like Ngandu. Would Boali Ngandu be interested in the presidency of the Patriotic Front? I really don't know. But there are several moving pieces. The reason why we must talk about the Patriotic Front, our dear listeners, is because it's very necessary for us to do so. because this is the former ruling party. This is a party that will continue playing a role in this new dispensation. So we can't just meet and say at mwalilu saimwe twalaleko ku mirandapo ala abo bene abalushire nabo bene eryashiriri pwatiryashi pamushi nga pafu ensofu neryashiriri polyansofu nomba tetutwambe kokulalanda pafintu something else. When here we have a very serious issue of a terrible loss of the Patriotic Front by over 1 million votes. Number two, no, we've got to continue talking about it. We have to continue talking about it. General, is there another topic? Because I would like to bring in our fellow discussants here so that they can participate.
No, Musha, to our viewers, why we will continue talking about PF is that they've got MPs in Parliament. They are the official opposition. But there is another chunk of the opposition, which is the independent MPs. So combining the independent MPs and PF MPs, that's a big opposition. But the question is, who's going to lead them? And Zambia we need a strong opposition. Just like we were a strong opposition 2 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, we were telling PF off. So we want a good opposition. The question is, who's going to lead PF? So MPs, PF has MPs in Parliament. So it's very important for our democracy. So let's bring in our viewers, Musha.
Yes.
Unless we've got any comments coming through, let's bring our viewers to hear what they think.
Okay, there are several comments here, so I'll just be highlighting some, and then we can comment and then bring our fellow discussants. Let me see here. So there are several petitions, General, that have been filed, and today it was like it's a day of petitions. I did meet very briefly with the Honorable Favorite Musangu of Chiengi. Now that the matter is in court, we can't even discuss about it. We are going to wait and see how she's going to do so. She is petitioning the winner, who is an independent MP for Chiengi. We understand that there are several other petitions that have been filed. Of course, it's a democratic right for candidates to file their petitions. I think that is one of the major things that are happening right now regarding petitions. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our fellow discussants.
And our viewers, a lot of petitions in the Eastern Province as well. And as you are saying, they are already in court, so we can't comment about them. But it will be interesting to see what happens to them. And we're also having a lot of independents being petitioned. We will see what happens. I can see a petition coming through in Petauke as well, so we will not comment about them. Musha, over to you.
All right. Okay, thank you. The independent MPs, they are mostly leaning, they were leaning towards the Patriotic.
You are cutting off, Musha. Our viewers, I think Musha was saying the independent candidates.
They are actually Patriotic Front. Yeah.
You're right, Musha. Go ahead.
Yes, so I'm here, and then we have our fellow discussants here. And so I'm just going to introduce them, and then General, you can pick it up from there.
Musha,
hello, General.
Musha, there's a comment here that Kaiza Zulu should be the president of PF. What do you think?
First of all, Kaiza Zulu will never be president of PF. Now, when I say this, it's not equivalent to what they were saying at your HH will never be president. But in a common sense sphere, it can tell you what Kaiza Zulu will not be president of PF, will never be president of PF. And if you were president of PF, you will never be president of PF.
Thank you, Musha. Do you want to introduce our panel today, Musha, or should I go ahead and introduce them?
Oh no, please go ahead and introduce them. And because you've been missing in action for several days, you're going to be the one to moderate our discussion here.
Thank you so much, Musha. I will start with our lady Gladys. She's in Denmark, I think. Patrick Chirufia, I think, is my good friend who fought hard for this campaign. Is in England. Kelvin Chanda. Kelvin, I think Kelvin should be in Zambia, but I think you introduce yourselves. And Caleb Kangwa and Himba Malambo. So let's start with the lady. I always want to respect our ladies. Gladys, welcome and hello from Lusaka. What's your comments? We are talking about the cabinet being appointed, Minister of Finance being appointed. We are also appealing to our president to appoint his sort of staff, the presidential team at State House. And then we're talking about the leadership in PF. Mr. Given Lubinda is the new president. And we've also had some very silly comments coming from Mr. Kachinda. What's your comments? Please, in 2 minutes, pick any of the topics. Gladys, over to you.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. We missed you, Mr. Chipakupaku. Good evening. Good evening. I don't have so much comments except that it's just a bit confusing about the list which is going around, the list of appointed minister of cabinet ministers, which I feel is fake, because the only one I have seen is Mr. Musokotwane. So I don't know I don't know whether it is just the wishful thinking of those cabinet ministers which is going around. I don't know what you could comment about that, or is it something which is not yet official?
What I can tell you, Gladys, I'm in Lusaka, and I can tell you that the lists circulating are fake. They're all fake, okay? Because the president has not announced any names. The only name he has announced is Mr. Musokotwane. For a very, very clear reason, our viewers, because we have an economy to mend, we have an economy to turn around, and the budget is supposed to be in October. So we needed the Minister of Finance yesterday. So he has done it. So if you're seeing any lists coming through to you with all these names, ignore them, because they're not true. Those are fake. So anybody can come up with a list with people being appointed into different positions. Those are fake lists, Gladys. So if you don't have any comment on the PF, you don't have any comments on the leadership of PF, can I move to Patrick Chirufia, please? 2 minutes, sir.
Yes, General, good to see you.
Thank you, Patrick. How is England today?
Yeah, no, it's lovely. It's okay. Weather is good. Yeah, so General, I'll be quick. On the issue of the cabinet minister, I think people are anxious, and I believe the president also is not just sitting playing. I think he's trying to think carefully before he selects the people who are going to unite the country and develop our economy. So yeah, I think that's my comment on that. And Musokotwane, I think that's a good one, yeah, to start with. And then on the issue of PF, I think the comments almost everybody made, I do agree with them. You know, General, PF, we need PF because we need opposition. You know, we need the opposition to challenge us, just the way we were challenging them. But PF in its current form cannot be rebranded or reformed. It's like they are beyond redemption. It's like trying to reform Lucifer. You cannot do it. And yes, I agree with Dr. Kasonso. They're trying to keep because, you know, PF, if you listen to Sangwa's interview with Frank Mutuga, you would agree so many things what he said. PF wasn't a political party. It was like a drug, you know, it was it was a criminal, gang, so it needs to be reformed. And if it's not reformed, we're going to be in trouble. We're not going to have opposition. And the rate at which people are resigning and are keeping quiet, it's quite alarming. And the other thing is PF without Lungu will be dead, because people were donating money to PF because they knew that they were going to get contracts. But now people are not going to donate money because they don't know whether the contracts are going to come. And Lungu, it seems, is the only one with a lot of money. So he's the only one who's going to keep that party going. And the moment Lungu goes, that's the end. Luvinda, I don't think Luvinda can lead that party. Luvinda is a non-starter. And Luvinda doesn't look like somebody who can reform that party. It's part of the... Luvinda is the one who's driving BU10. And Zambians rejected BU10. So how can they support Luvinda? Nyakachinda is a prodigal son. Nyakachinda needs to go back to Dr. Nevas Mumba and repent. He's like a child who achisomo. He needs to go back and repent, because I don't know which party Nyakachinda belongs to. Because he wasn't PF. He was adopted, and then he's making noise as if he's PF. What Nyakachinda needs to do now, HH is just in office now, and all the promises HH made to the electorates is gonna fulfill them, but they cannot be fulfilled overnight. The economy, the Zambian economy, was messed up. There's systematic failure in all government departments. It will require a lot of restructuring, reforming, and hard work. But it's going to fulfill that. We're confident. Yeah, so Nyakachinda should concentrate on rebranding and reforming PF than making noise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Dorothy Chama says we have Kalawa's party. Kalawa's party, Dorothy, has no MP. I don't think they have any MPs at all. So we want the opposition in parliament. Kalawa's party, the Socialist Party, all these people don't have MPs, and probably Hamududu might have one MP, which is good for democracy. And let's go to Kangwa. Kangwa, where are you?
Hi, Chipakupaku. Welcome back to Zambia.
Thank you. Where are you, Kangwa?
Yes.
Now we can talk. You don't need to hide where you are, because UPND is in power. So where are you exactly?
Afisa kama nephew. And Vamunsha, very good show this morning, Nava Radio Phoenix. We're very proud of you and all the points that you raised. Not to waste a lot of time, I just want to say that the selection of Astumbeko is a very good one. He's a tried and tested man. I don't think this is the time he clutched and era. A few accounts on social media, I saw that no, we don't want recycled presidents, we want youthful presidents. I think the situation that we find ourselves as Zambia is a very critical situation, as we're in an economic crisis. So we can't afford to have young and tested ministers. We can try that in other positions which are not so sensitive. Bastumbeko has the backing of international funding organizations. He's got experience. He helped us during that HIPIC completion period. At this position that we're finding ourselves in reminds me of the time when Vamwanawasa took over. It's quite similar. The country was going into distress economically, and also the democracy was tainted. So it's kind of like we're back at that situation, and Bastumbeko has the necessary experience. Back to ama checks and balances, ayo ba Nakachinda na ba Shontembo baletupela. I don't think they're in good faith. We welcome checks and balances, but they should be substantiated. The man has only been in power for 2 days. And then when it comes to selection of cabinet, I think let's trust and also give HH the opportunity. Let's give him some time. I'm sure there are discussions underway. And also the selection process, it won't happen overnight. I think he wants to get credible people, the right people, and that will take time. And I think in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I think he'll be able to give us a full cabinet. And also maybe we might have to wait until Parliament is back in session on the 10th of September. Then the issue of moving to State House, I think we should also give HH a break. That I believe took about 2 years to officially move into that Nkwazi House. So let's just relax. Tapali ifyakubutukira. Olo ilefwa ikama pepo sana ili nganda. Then the issue of separation of state and party. I think this issue needs to be tackled head on. I heard Anthony Walia yesterday on one of the TV programs. He dodged this question when he was asked on why, is it Iminda, the Secretary General? Yes, why he was commenting on government issues. I believe he apologized, but even today we had a blunder where the official communication for Bastumbeko's announcement was made on a UPND Twitter account, I think even on Facebook, before the government announced. I think let's make it very clear we're out of campaign mode. Did overzealous with getting the first information? Let's get back to protocols. It's important that we distinguish ourselves as a party from the state, and let's follow protocols. I think these young guys, media team, wangu babatumeko kuma diplomacy courses, kwa diplomacy school kulusakoko, babatumeko bwangu. Then I hear ama cadres na batampo kwela mu market. Those PF cadres have just simply rebranded themselves as UPND cadres, and I believe ku Chilenje market, I hear they are colluding council police and the cadres. I believe this is because Omo Balila. So you suddenly can't cut off their source of income. So even the council police are at fault. So they are sort of protecting each other. The council police is colluding Nama cadres because Padiapa Kolila. So I think it's important that Wangu, they introduce the electronic ticketing system so that there's no actual cash exchanged. These marketeers, standholders should be paying an upfront monthly fee, and they can present a token or something just to show that payment has been done. Let's stop the issue of handling cash. Those issues are bringing about pilferage. Yeah, and then lastly, on a lighter note, it seems like Wamal Sampa has found his voice finally. Landa. For the past 2 days, he's been airing out all the dirty laundry. PF and now he has finally found his voice. That's all I have to contribute.
Thank you so much,
General, before you go any further, I'm hearing some Mao Sampas posted something that the ZESCO managing director has been fired. Can you please confirm that?
This is the thing is that anybody who posts something which is not from the government is not official. So
yeah, no, so many people have posted. So many people have posted now on. I
can't confirm that, our viewers, because people are speculating a lot.
Even Mao Sampa has posted that.
Yeah, Sampa is not a government spokesman, Patrick. Remember, he cannot be a government spokesman, and if we allow that to be happening, there'll be a lot of speculation. Nothing has come from government, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a government spokesman. I'm not a government official. I'm not. I am in touch with our party. There is nothing which has come from government. So I think let's avoid speculation. I saw that posting this evening, and if the firing of the CEO of ZESCO can only be done by one person, that is the president, because that's the appointing authority. So nothing has come out from the president. So let me move on. First of all, before I move on, Cham, it was very good to hear Kangwa about what you think about Mr. Msokotwane. I'm such a privileged person that I speak to some of the diplomats in Lusaka, and they are very, very happy with that appointment. Very, very happy. And we don't need This is a very crucial time. We don't need trial and error in the Ministry of Finance. We need a tested hand, and that's what we need for now. Let's move on to Himba. Himba, is it Himba Malambo? Please,
Yes,
can
yes.
we try and be brief, because we haven't got enough time. Maximum 2 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you, Vanoman. I'm going to talk about partly the appointment for the Minister of Finance. For me, I won't even waste time. That is a brilliant appointment. As the previous speaker has already alluded, that we don't need try and error. We need men and women of caliber who can steer the boat. If into tafiri wino, ukukolopa, we need real men who've got brains and who've got substance. Not we don't want that. That is a perfect appointment. Secondly, PF. PF, it's a dead end. PF party, it's a dead end. Elo na imweba Norman mlela ndati limbi, we need checks and balances. Tapali nama checks and balances waka tupela wa PF fi kopo. Do you mean if we get a PF member of parliament tuamba bikana ba honorable Gary Nkombo atwachite debate biuteni wale shana fie nga baisa babwerera. They didn't even know what they were pushing in parliament. I actually think parliament is gonna be boring because just imagine Tubike Bowman Lusambo. What will he do in parliament? Because when he was in the ruling party, I think the percentage he spoke, it's less than 10%. Musician, there's nothing he pushed in parliament. So I don't even know. That is actually a worrying state for me in parliament. Pantuba PF, they will not even give us a good debate. And even the checks and balances, look what they are saying. School fees, when we've got important things they would have talked about. They would have talked about even the presidential speech during the inauguration. They would not talked about it. But fees, which can't work. Elo send a leadership. Elo nabalungu bene leadership mu PF tabaka ikwanishe, because I don't think Lungu has invested much to sustain his money, which he got a bigger chunk. At the end of the day, he'll be broke. He won't be able to sustain that party. So leadership at PF need dead end. And I don't think they've got leaders in PF to run the party. Tabakabekwati by UPND, who stayed in the opposition for a longer period. By PF, they insult themselves. So how can Eloba given Rubindabare Monica Kwata at least Bali Makade, Bali Bato Bakala Mapi, Baka Luding, Baka Bachindi Kashani. Abena Fata, but once a babiri, GBM and Shimbakambwili, they are quiet. What will they do? And we know that it's a tribalist part. So at PF, it's a dead end. Katwishi, Ababambe ama party ambaya no, because we need proper checks and balances of realistic, not if she panga sense, but that fees. For 10 years, they failed to implement this policy. They want us to implement it within 2 days. That is unrealistic. Na totela. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
General, you're mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had muted myself. Over to you, Joanne Mubita. Thank you so much, Malambo. Over to you, Joanne Mubita. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, General. It's actually Joanne Mubiana, but I'll take Mubita any day. Hi, everyone. My point is basically on the appointment of Dr. Stumbeko. I think I'm well pleased. He comes with an impeccable credential behind him. And I don't know if anyone noticed, but we have a president as an economist, and now we have a finance minister who's also an economist. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a third economist in the House just to have that triple threat. And just in terms of the incoming cabinet, I would like to see more women capable women, just to have a balance in there, to have people representing the House. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. And let's move on to Butte, our sister Butte. 2 minutes, please. We've got a number of topics for you to select from. Over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, General. As usual, we all missed you, and it's great to see you. I would like to talk about what Joanne has just raised there about having women in the parliament. It's all very well us having women, but we need to make sure that these women come with proper qualifications and experience and all that. It's all very well, them to go and bring women on board, but we really, really need that to make sure that. I think that's probably why HH is taking forever to announce his parliament, because he wants to make sure that whoever he brings in is going to have a strong background in whatever they've done. For instance, like this morning when I read on Twitter that he was going to be, bringing on his minister today, my first thing was to look at his resume, and the guy's resume is unbelievable, and I was glad to see him, his PhD and stuff. And I was thinking about my brother, Mr. Kasonso. I thought, if my brother, Mr. Kasonso, should have applied for this position, he probably would have gotten it. But this is a PhD, not a honorary doctorate that people have gone and bought from China or whatever it is, But it's absolutely fantastic. What a choice. And I was also happy to see the UPND Alliance, talking about how some of the PF bank accounts have been frozen. And, that's great to see people be, action happening. And yeah, I'd like to see the petition for Bowman Lusamba go ahead too, because, he needs, I don't think he got that seat, to be honest with you. Not that I was there. The succession plan is something that we should look forward to. Yes, and today again, I'm on some media platform where people are going on about, Mr. Msokotwane is too old and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter whether he's old or whatever. But yes, in the future, maybe in the next 3 years or 4 years or whatever, like Mr. Kasonso said, we need to make sure that we have a succession plan just in case anything did happen to any of our leaders, that we know we have somebody that knows what they'll do tomorrow if anything did happen. And those are my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Beauty. And we'll try and stay away from the commenting about petitions, but we know there are a lot of petitions there which are coming through to court, and because they're in court, we can't comment about them. So please, if we can avoid mentioning people's names with petitions, because then we'll be going against the law. So let's go to Chama in London. Percy, my friend from Feira. Percy, I got a phone call from Feira today, and I'm sure you'll be very happy to hear from Chidambule and family Feira. So over to you, Chama. What's up?
No, I'm okay. It's nice to hear you spoke with the Chitambles. Yeah, I know that. I know them as well. Yeah, that's quite good. Anyway, for me, in terms you spoke about PF. Yeah, myself. Okay. There's something of which I've read on comments, and I've heard a few people speak about it. I think even one of you, I don't know whether it was you, Mr. Norman, or maybe it was Mr. Musha. I'm not sure who said it, in terms of saying PF is tribal, they're a tribalist party. Remember one thing. It was the current party in power which were called the same thing. So let's not start changing caps. The past few weeks we've been preaching about, let's stop this tribalism. We are one Zambia, one nation, and all that. So let's not start giving tags to each other. That's for me that I feel strongly about that. Because one thing is I've got a quarter of me from Luapula. My grandmother Chama, she's from Luapula. You understand? So some of these things I might be from my father's tribe, I know that the way we take it in our tradition, but you still have relatives who come from that same place. So please, let's stop that habit of saying, if we just have to, let's start arguing about policies. Yes, we can talk about the way they were doing their nominations for vice president. They sacked this one and all that. For me, if you ask me in terms of that again, when they chose the female vice president or running mate or whatever you might call it, it was just a cover. Well, to just make to make happy the women in the party. But as soon as they lost, to them in their head, they think a woman can't lead their party. Full stop. If you ask me, that's my my understanding. And that's a very bad signal to send to your own members, whereby you choose this one and you lose, you sack him, you bring another one, and you are not even allowing your own members to even vote for a person. You are appointing. And you spoke, my last point would be, earlier on you spoke about that's the policy for PF. The president has a lot of power. Well, you shouldn't be surprised with that. Let's be realistic. The founder of that party, check his roots. You check where he learned and how he was working when it didn't matter whether it was in UNIP, because in UNIP he was working. I remember he was a governor. Unless is it mayor or governor, one of the two in Lusaka. I remember he bought buses. I still remember that. I was old enough to see and to use those buses to go to school, to Luangwa boys. I remember that. So we shouldn't be surprised when a president is given that much power. If PF has to survive, they need to change things like that. Let their members choose who they want, not appoint. Because even their president, I don't think he went to a convention and they voted for him to be president for that party. He was basically appointed, or maybe they say the chosen one to them. For me, I think that's enough. I've got a lot to say, but since we don't have enough time, I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Chama. I think I will explain why I said what I said. It's me who raised that issue. Chama, I've been privileged to meet some of the very senior members of PF in the last 2 days. And I will tell you that when I arrived on Tuesday, my first person I met was a PF senior, because I will not mention the name and I will not mention their rank, because that would be very bad. It will mean this person won't trust me anymore. But what has been happening in the last 1 year is our friends in Luapula have really had hijacked Lungu. And for our viewers, you'll be told that when HH was pronounced winner, the same group had gone to Lungu and told Mr. Lungu and told him to say, don't concede defeat. So I am talking from very informed, a very informed position. That what was happening, that is Mr. Lungu towards the end was being hijacked and threatened by Kampyongo, by Chitotela, by Davis Mwila. All these people from the same region, basically telling him and reminding him to say, we are the ones who appointed you in 2015. So what can make them stop saying they claim that this party is theirs, which is completely wrong. We should not have any political party run by a party, a tribe or group of people. It's wrong. That's why every political party must have a national character. But this is what these people have been doing in the last few months. They are the same people who went to Mr. Lungu, Percy, and told Mr. Lungu, don't concede. He said it himself. I was being told not to concede. Let me explain to you and confirm to you that one of those people who was telling Mr. Lungu not to concede was Kampyongo. One of those people who was saying Mr. Lungu not to concede was Davis Chama. not Davis Chama, but Davis Mwila and Chito Taylor. These are the people who are almost very dangerous and making this man have sleepless nights and telling him don't concede. So that's why I said what I said, Percy, is that they still think that they own the PF. And their constitution does not give any democracy. There was no democracy. The whole Central Committee was appointed by one man, and there was no democracy. So that's why I'm worried about this opposition, because PF is not democratic. PF has been run by, influenced by certain people, and these are the people I've mentioned, and I'm challenging them. If they think that I'm not telling the truth, I will tell them when they met and when they told the president, don't concede. That information is there. And for me, in the last 2 days, I've been meeting friends in the PF who were there when these things were happening. So that's why I said what I said, Percy Chama. It's not right for any political party to be run by one group, one tribe. And this is what these people like totally are trying to do. Basically, they told Lungu, this party belongs to us. We are putting you in the Eastern Province just to keep this position for you. Do what we're telling you to do. And that is not acceptable. Finally, let's go to Chola. Chola, where are you and what are you hearing about the cabinet and the appointment of Msokotwani and our friends in PF who took PF to get up?
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Mr. Chipakupaku, welcome to Zambia. Well, I'll pick the topic of to PF. Mr. Chipakupaku, if you look where we are coming from, even in 91 when we voted for MMD, we had UNIP, which remained in, as an opposition. But afterwards, today we don't have an opposition that is going to challenge us as UPND was. So, apanga tuambo kulanda pali nani abamwachira landa pwava. I think twala apwisha fenchite akulanda pabantu abashikwete novuyo. There is no future for PF now. PF is dead. We will see other political parties that are coming. They are the ones that are coming to challenge us. But from now to 5 years, we don't have anyone who can challenge us and tell us what to do. Right now, Mr. Chipakupaku, I really want to thank the president for picking up Dr. Msokotwani, because Dr. Msokotwani has been there and he knows what is happening in our economic. And I know he's going to do better than the way it was. I think I can remain there because there's a lot of people want to speak.
Thank you so much, Chola. And Munsha, because tonight I'm traveling tomorrow and I'm trying to prepare for something, and I would suggest you wind it up unless our panel has something else they can raise. Please, before I bring in Munsha, anybody with another comment, any extra comment, just for 30 seconds.
I'm a t-shirt, I'm a t-shirt, Yavandu.
Chola, can you repeat what you've just said, sir?
The t-shirts. People are asking which about the t-shirt.
Which t-shirt?
Bakwetu, the one we talked about last time when you are coming to Zambia.
Okay, Bakwetu t-shirts. I think I will hand over to Munsha to sum up and talk about the t-shirts for Bakwetu. Munsha, over to you.
Before Musha says something, can you give me just 30 seconds as well? Before Musha says anything.
Before Musha comes in, go ahead, sir.
Okay, I will try to be a bit controversial. I get the feeling, you know, the MPs for PF, very soon, okay, some of them, as you said, we shouldn't talk about petitions, but those who want genuinely and all that, I feel that some of them, they will. I wanted to ask, what are the rules of resigning from one political party while you're an MP? Do you go for by-elections, or you can be an independent or without standing?
The answer is very simple, Percy. You cannot cross the floor. You cannot cross the floor, even if you're independent. You cannot cross the floor. Your seat gets nullified.
Oh, okay.
But
No,
as
I
an
didn't. That's what I asked.
independent candidate, they can support any of the parties, whether the ruling party or the opposition.
Yeah.
But if you are in PF, you cannot just cross over and say I'm now UPND. That can't happen.
No, I was thinking like just to become independent, because at the moment PF is polarized, as everybody knows. So there's a lot of MPs. I think that they might want to come out and join these smaller parties. I know the current ruling party. I don't think they will accept any of them. That's my feeling.
Well, if you are elected MP for PF, you cannot cross over and become an independent. You will have to resign your position and go and stand as an independent. That's what can happen. So over to you, Musha, to sum us up.
General, before Musha come in,
yes, go ahead.
Few seconds.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah. Kenba Musha, I've seen something on Wakwetu TV saying the ZESCO director has been fired. Kenba Musha confirm that when he comes in. And then the other point I just wanted to allude to, General, is the point of succession plan. You know, General, you've worked in the army in organizations. UPND, as you've mentioned, but Stumbeko comes with a wealth of experience. World Bank, IMF, and he did very well in MMD. And you remember we hosted him in one of our programs. He was so articulate. I knew that this man, when he becomes the finance minister, Zambia is in safe hands. But he's reached retirement, so there is need for a succession plan. And General, the youth brought in this change. And if you look at the Kaunda first cabinet, it was all youth. So I think we need to speed up the succession plan and start grooming the youth. Bamusokotwane can be there for 5 years. Then the second term, we bring in somebody who has been groomed. HH is an economist, so we can start grooming some people within the party. But again, we need to increase the youth representation in our party, and also women. And I know HH is going to bring in more women, but not so many women were successful in terms of becoming MPs in our party. So that's going to be a problem, appointing a lot of women, but that needs to be considered also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And I think for our viewers, the president was the right to appoint 8 MPs, nominate 8 MPs. And at the moment, we don't have a lot of women. And you're very, very right, Patrick, that we need to really, really consider the youth, because they are the majority of the voters who brought this government in. But only part of the succession planning, I think that generally that should be, and I wouldn't speak on behalf of the president, but I think he's thinking about it. Sokotwane is an old man, but very, very experienced. But they have to start thinking in future, what happens if the man decides to retire, so that we have young people also being exposed, given the chance to be in leadership position, because that is very, very important. After all, our population is very young. We're getting young voters voting, especially this year. We got a very good turnout from the young people, and we are getting young people who are getting qualified as well. So they better get some bit of experience as well. So I think this is now, which is up to the government itself and the party, UPND. I know a lot of the leaders in the party are following us. They are following us a lot, and I know that some of the people very close to the president are following us. So some of this advice will be going straight to the president to say, look, you start thinking of succession planning. But this is a critical appointment at a very critical time, because we have a serious economic problem. The debt issue needs to be tackled seriously. We need to create jobs very, very quickly. We need to make sure that the mining sector is, the output is increased. We need to make sure that the agriculture sector is turned around. We need to make sure that tourism is turned around. Because, I mean, you Patrick, you know that we've been discussing with these things in the policy forums of UPND. These are the priorities which Mr. Msokotwane will have: agriculture, education, health, and tourism, mining. What should we do to try and make sure that we increase production of the mining industry? I flew into the country through Dubai. It took me a long time. I could have flown in directly from London to Lusaka, which could have taken me probably 10 hours instead of the whole day, 24 hours travel. And the new minister has to negotiate those taxes over duty, over jet fuel, to try and encourage British Airways and other airlines to come straight, and other airlines to be flying directly from New York to Lusaka, or New York to Johannesburg, and then you connect. So those are the issues which Mr. Msokotwane, I think, will tackle head on, which a young person coming in now, it will take some time for them to understand exactly what to do. But Mr. Msokotwane, you don't need to coach him. He's hitting the ground running, because he knows exactly what to say. So I want to hand over to Musha. Musha, where are you?
Before you go, Mr. Chipakupaku.
Yes.
There's Himba.
Who's that one now? Is it Himba? Malambo, go ahead.
Malambo.
I have much we appreciate the removal of cadres from the streets. It's a very, very brilliant move, and it has worked well. But I've got a little bit of a concern. We've removed these cadres from the streets, from the markets, everywhere. Where have we sent them? What have we prepared for them? Because there are also youths and young people who still have families they need to feed as well. And honestly, from the previous government, these cadres, their profession was cadreism. So I'm pleading with the government or our leaders to come up with sustainable strategies for them as they move out of the street and the markets, where they're going to go and what they'll be doing. Is it survival skills, life skills for them to enable them to find a survival? Because right now we've pushed them out of the markets, we've pushed them out of the street. Where are they going? They're going to start terrorizing the communities because they want to survive. They'll still want to eat. So can we also find a sustainable transition for them to move on with their lives? As much as they are still cadres, they are still Zambians, and they are still young people who are still beneficiaries to the national cake as well. And on the women, as we appoint women in these positions, do we appreciate we need women in leadership? But can we have women of substance, of caliber, not women who are going to swing, not women who are going to be told what to do, no matter how wrong it is, they'll just go and do it. We don't want the dollar Silias, we don't want the Nkanduluos, we want the women who are going to raise the Zambian flag. I rest my case.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't want to comment because it's a government issue, but I can tell you that the issue of cadres, I think that's why the president has appointed the Minister of Finance first, because that is the issue of young people. It's a serious issue. The problem with the cadres being at the markets and bus stations was that PF had actually added criminal elements into that, all of that. But if the councils work very hard and they put their structures well, they can employ some of these young people to help them in the markets, but in a sustainable way, but making sure that they don't commit crime in the process. And the government should also, I think this is what Mr. Msokotwane will do, find a ways of trying to encourage these people to go into business and fund them into those things which are, businesses which are sustainable. But for them to be sustainable, they will need to access loans, not this empowerment from nothing.
They'll need skills as well. If we can come up with skills as government, to help, even when they are going to be incorporated with the city council, the local authorities. Let the government also come up with a deliberate policy to give them vocational training, to help them to manage those positions they will get. As much as we are saying they need skills, we should also accept that they still have that criminology mind they got from the PF, which they still need to be helped as well to cross over to the other side of the coin, and taught them reality that you need a skill. If you need to collect money, you need to know how to write a receipt, you need this, all those things, they need to go through it. But all I'm saying, let's also find something for them to keep them going and sustain them.
That's very true. I totally agree with you that, because these people need food as well. These people need to pay their rent. Some of them have got children, so we have to find a way of making sure that they've got some sort of sustainable income from lawfully gained. And this issue of the skills training is going to be critical. And I think, I don't know what Mr. Msokotwane might have. I don't know what the government. One of them is national service, to utilize the farms at national service, to utilize some of the low-hanging fruit to try and create jobs for these people. It will require a lot of thinking, but it cannot happen over 2 days. That cannot happen. It might take a few months. It might take 1 year to try and get these people back into sustainable and decent jobs as well. So it looks like Munsha is not there. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all our viewers tonight. And I know that I've seen a lot of comments that I was missing in action. I am enjoying Lusaka. I will try and meet as many of our government officials, the ones who will be appointed, as possible. I will try and meet Dr. Msokotwane as quickly as possible to raise some of the issues we've raised. I will try and meet the officials of the party and to make sure that I give them the advice, which, because some of them are listening. The issue of the party not speaking on behalf of the government, we must split them. There should be a difference between the party and the government. The government must run the government. The party must make sure that the policy of the government is followed, but without interfering with the government. So some of these discussions we will have, I will be, if I'm given the chance, be feeding them straight to the people appointed and to the Secretary General, to the chairman of the party, to all the officials of our party, the media team, to say don't rush into issuing statements which should be issued by State House. And for me, it has just been a pleasure and very, very exciting to be in Lusaka. And the reception I received at the airport was just unbelievable. And the reception I've been receiving wherever I go, some people are identifying me just with my voice, with my mask on, and I'm told that's General from Bakwetu. The participation of you people from our viewers, your comments, your suggestions during the campaign has just been appreciated by the party. That's what they told me. That's what the officials of the party have told me. Not only in Lusaka, in Copperbelt, in Northern Province, in Luapula, in Western Province, that the Bakwetu TV has been very, very, very instrumental, including the TV stations here where I've gone. They've told us, you guys, your viewers and yourselves at TV Bakwetu, you've done such a fantastic job. I think now let's give the chance to the president to put his cabinet in place. Let's advise where we can advise. Let's criticize where we can criticize constructively. And where people come up like Nakachinda, just say to teach parents should not pay their school fees. I call that nonsense. That's not criticism. That cannot happen in 2 days. We have to give this government a chance to implement its policies and clean up. I have been privileged, our viewers, to meet some of the government officials, outgoing government officials, senior officials. I've met some of the diplomats in Lusaka. Our country had gone. So we have to start from afresh. We have to create some of the, clean up. There will be a lot of cleaning up. A lot of cleaning up in the parastatals, in the ministries, which will need to be cleaned up. So in the next few weeks, expect a lot of cleaning up to take place, because PF had gone too far. People are saying it in the streets, People are saying it in government ministries. People are saying it in the banks. People are saying it in the diplomatic services. Everywhere, the PF had gone too far. So I just want to, on behalf of Musha and our viewers tonight, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And we will look forward to meeting you again tomorrow. I will try and use the weekend to meet as many of the officials as possible and pass some of the comments you have said. When I'm given the chance, if I will be given the chance to meet with the president, I will pass most of these comments you are making. And I just hope I'll be given the chance to meet him, and I'll do my best to pass all the information which is coming through Bakwetu. And for me, it's nice to be back home and to see all the smiles of our people at all the bus stations, at the banks, at the markets, everywhere. It's just fantastic. What really disappointed me was to see the number of posters which were on the walls in Lusaka. That was madness, complete madness. So once again from Lusaka, and I will not tell you which part of Lusaka. I'm somewhere very, very beautiful in Lusaka with my family. I just wish you a good night and say, Zikomo Twalumba, Taonga Chomene, all the Zambian languages. I wish I could speak all of them. Thank you so much from Lusaka, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and we hope to see you tomorrow.